Hello and welcome to BonkTable. I'm Master in their Conquest Battle Report. Chios Edition. Woo! On the Island of Cats. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was fucking feral cats everywhere. I guess he's very allergic to cats, this guy. So, as some of you may know, I got the Canadian spot for Worlds in July? I think it was July, whatever. Whenever the season ends, I think it's June. Anyway, so I did as many practice games as I could. I didn't do as much practice as I kind of hoped for Chios, to be honest. I rather have played more. Work was really busy. I had a bunch of obligations I had to travel to during the weekends, and I did as much practice as I kind of could. There is a wonderful article from Robert on Goonhammer who asked me a list of questions, and I just kind of, answered them in a point format. I think I was on a bus in Greece when I sent that to him. We went to Oracle Delphi after, when you go to Chios and you stay in Greece for an extra couple days just to run around and see the countryside. It's first time across the pond and into Europe, so it's well, we're gonna spend some time here after Chios, win or lose. But let's kind of talk about Conquest related stuff leading up to Chios. So practice did some practice. I tried out a couple lists. There'll be my practice games will go out after this main one, so you'll see all that content and what I was playing. For some of them, we had superhero heals that ran double werewolves, double goltr, and a Vogni Lord. Volva Shaman, I think the Volva was in Huskarl, Shaman was Raiders. And then we had a Blooded with double trolls, double stalkers, so very light focused. Had a bunch of healing, had a bunch of regen. It's an attrition style list. Does really well. A bit more I want to say flexible. You gotta be really careful with the werewolves. They still die. Everything's gonna be E2, but E2 is still asking to die. They're 5 wounds. They do a pretty decent job with the flurry, especially when they inspire to Clash 3. So there's some stuff going on there with them. I just didn't feel like I had enough practice leading up to Chios to play that list well, and so I didn't pick it. The other list I tried was we have a King 2. It's the Connie with double Steel Chosen, double Bow Chosen. I think the Volba Warlord with Raiders and Huskarl. And then, does it have, I think it's Blooded 2 Trolls. Blooded 2 Trolls, goltr Fenner. I can pull that up. I'm not going to throw it up here. What you guys are going to be seeing is all just the Chios pictures of just people playing games, people running around, the island, all that stuff. That's what you get to enjoy. We have a King 2. It was double trolls, Fenner, goltr, and then, yeah. So, I like that list. But what I really came down to decide upon, and I did mention that in the Robert Shepard Goonhammer, was for goltr. It's kind of what I've been playing. It's what I feel good with. I did talk to Carl, and he was like, look, you're going to play this. Change Blooded Warlord to Shaman Warlord, and drop a goltr for a Fenner. You want double turn 2 scoring, it's just going to work out really well for you. 3 goltr is plenty, and you'll do really well. And I did very well, and thank you, Carl, for those changes. I believe they were the correct changes. There was a couple things of changing the list to try and get wild, not necessarily wild beasts, but for sure dropping one of the goltr for Fenner. And then just having E2 on everything was the correct choice, especially on trolls. E2 trolls is much better than D2 trolls, especially when a little bit of cleave or spike kicks in, and you're still saving on 2s. It just keeps them around a little longer. So yeah, I'm not really gonna run through this list. Maybe I should. Maybe I will. Let's see. Let's do the Conquest. You get to watch me build it live. Alright, there we go. Built live. Probably cut that out for you. But anyway, Blooded, Tayokar, Trolls, Stalkers, double goltr. Blooded with the Redbringer, Trolls, Stalkers, goltr, Fenner. And then Shaman with the figurehead, Raiders with Captain, and Sionar. So, good reinforcement line with the Forward Force Blooded on the double Trolls. You're getting then your auto in, what's another goltr. And then you're getting Fenner. So turn 2, you're getting 6 cards. And people were kind of joking around that it's okay, I'm going to roll for I'm gonna auto in this guy, and then I'm gonna roll. Oh, I got nothing, and they'll be and then Masters drops a stack of cards in front of me. It's that's my turn 2. So Most of the stuff kind of comes on, like, it was very rare that I had something on turn 4, like one of the goltr coming in turn 4. Most of the stuff showed up by at least turn 3, like all the stalkers are auto-aiming, but they're also 4 downs. A majority of my list is showing up on turn 2, so I should have a card advantage. Get that positioning, and you know, turn 3, the Sionar showing up with probably another goltr. Sometimes it would be really funny is all my goltr would show up turn 2, and it's just a Sionar showing up turn 3, so that was kind of nice. I like it. You kind of play just Horns of the Bulls. You'll see me doing that a lot. It's kind of what I practice and what I'm good at with the list. And I'm just really glad I played it, and especially at Chios. It was really comfortable for me to play something that I've been playing a lot of. And due to my lack of practice games leading up to Chios, like GRG was one of the big events I wanted to go to, simply just to get a bunch of practice games in before Chios, and just taking the list and doing well with it at GRG and then making the changes for Chios was, I believe it was the correct play, and it paid off, and that's kind of what I gotta say about it. Do I think it's a great list? It's a good list. It's solid. Do I think it's like a Chios level like winning list? Well, no. Like, you gotta understand something about my matchups in Chios. I played, my worst matchup was SK. I played 0 Sorcerer Kings. My next worst matchup is Uroni, and I played 1 Uroni, where we drew. So, and then I dodged everything else. 100k was gonna be another big one, but you know, goltr have Linebreaker and Brutal 1s, and it's just gonna be a ton of damage coming in, so I have a bit of advantage into the 100k. I did play Wadroon and Old Dominion as well. Old Dominion, Linebreaker's gonna destroy a Praetorian block. It doesn't matter if you're Bastion +5 with shield, like you're gonna be D1 on the charge and then D2 on the clash. Like, it's not good for you. So I had tools in that, and then Wadroon, I don't know, I played enough Wadroon games where I was like, yeah, whatever, this is just Wadroon. My opponent did bring up the Sign of the War, and we'll get into that matchup there, because it did end up into a grind, but I outgrind and pushed through, so you know, there's the win there. But overall, the list did very well into the matchups I did get, and I dodged the matches that I knew I was dead. Like, if I hit any of the 4, I think there was 4 SK players, because I remember there being 4 SK, 4 Uroni. If I hit any of the 4 SK players, I'm probably just dead. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. Flamecasters were just so cranked that I did not have a way out. While with Uroni, I could try and force it and fight and battle. And one of the things with Uroni is that you need to kind of drag them into the end game, because as stuff starts dying off and you start getting like an activation advantage, you can then turn that around and like kind of score out to win at the very end. And that's how I found you have to win with Nords. If you give up stuff too early and make too many risky plays early on, you'll bleed too many resources, you know, death of regiments, death of stands, where the only player can like sweep through, and that end game doesn't really work out. So the times that I've done well in Uroni is when we like take it to the end, while the times I've done poorly in Uroni is that, you know, the game's done by turn 6. And that's the thing about like a Worlds competition, is that it's a lot of skill, it's a lot of luck, and it's taking whatever opportunities you can. And I got lucky in Chios that I did not meet my kryptonite, that is the 4 SK players. They were kind of all over, I think, at the end rosters. I would have to, let's see here, can I pull it up really quick? There's, you know, you got this SK final feed. No, it's not SK, the finals here. There was 1 SK player at 4. There was another SK player at 10. Another SK. There was not only 2 of these guys. Do not tell me there's 2. That is a lot of. Oh, there's not 1 at number 1. Forgot about that guy. 1, 2, 3. Was there actually 3? How many Uroni? 1, 2, 3, 4. The Uroni was all the top 8. Oh god. So yeah, I do love. I'm just gonna talk about the top 10 here real quick. It is 3 SK, 4 Uroni. Maybe there was only 7 or 3 SK and 4 Uroni. 200k and just B who snuck through. God damn it. While then we got Dwag, Wadroon, Oldie, Wadroon, Nords, Wadroon. Yeah, okay. So I guess I was wrong. There was only 7. Still a lot of SK and Uroni. But I dodged them, and that's kind of the thing. Like, sometimes you just need that to do well. Like, what's your strategy in this matchup? pray to God and dodge it. Like, it's a valid solution. There's not much you can do sometimes. That's it. As for Chios itself, beautiful island, covered in cats. Like, just absolutely covered. It's crazy how many fucking cats there are. We'd be at dinner, and there'd be, like, cats kind of coming up, and someone would, like, feed them a little bit of food, and they, like, start cat fights, and you're like, wow, it's, like, just... Jesus Christ, like, there was this one big orange cat was just kind of, like, this mean tomcat that would push aside all the other cats. But anyway, the island is covered in, like, feral cats. They're everywhere. You'll find them, like, hiding under stuff in the shade when it's hot out. You'll find them running around, in the evening when the sun starts going down. It's quite funny and entertaining. When I was at the Acropolis in Athens later, we found cats, you know, underneath, like, pillars and stuff, hiding and chilling out, and, you know, all these old ruins and stuff. It's just, there's cats everywhere. It's more predominant at Chios, but there's cats in Athens and I believe the rest of Greece as well. We saw some cats when we went to, like, the Oracle Delphi and stuff. So it's quite funny with all these cats. Ocean's beautiful. Weather was beautiful. It barely rains there. The wind kind of, you know, games 2 and 4 in the evening after lunch, the wind did pick up a little bit, so you got to be really careful about your cards and then also taping the mats down. We do play outside in kind of like this big tent what's open to the wind. Makes it really nice though to just play in. You're cool, you get that nice breeze. I was sweating rounds 3 and 4 just because I'm wearing, you know, the Competent Conquest jersey with Mass on BonkTable. So I got another layer on and I'm just like sweating and I'm just like, oh my god, I need to take this off. But I'm like, no, keep it on. Do it for Competent. You gotta win. You gotta do well. So yeah. Food was delicious. Meeting everybody. When you show up to Chios, they you know, you're kind of there the first day. People are kind of all coming in. So there's people coming in at like 10 a.m., 1 p.m., 5 p.m., 10 p.m. at night. You know, everyone's kind of like trickling in the first day. And then the second day, they're like, hey, do you want to go see Mesdic? What's Mesdic? It's a natural chewing gum. Guess who learned about Mesdic? The entire Chios crew learned about Mesdic. Why did we learn about Mesdic? You go on a tour about the island. They took us to the south side. We visited 2 different villages. We visited the Mesdic Museum. Chios is known for Mesdic, and that's why, like, people wanted Chios. They wanted the natural chewing gum. It's terrible to produce. One of the quotes from one of the old ladies in the museum, like a quote was, "This stuff is terrible. Please, I'll just burn it all down," or like, "Please burn all of this." So it's like, oh god. But Mesdic is basically just natural chewing gum. It's used in a bunch of stuff. We did try some Mesdic, like some Mesdic pop. It's like, oh, it's rough. I do not recommend drinking it. But the big thing about this whole, like, tour and seeing all these villages and eating and stuff is to, you know, get all the different members of the Conquest and Trash community to talk and communicate. Like, I met Matthias, who is number 1. A super nice guy. We chatted about Conquest, talked about our thoughts upon it. He's very knowledgeable, super nice, super polite, really inviting. Like, he's also, like, Mateus. He's a great player. I only know him as Podwis, that's why. Then meeting Camille. Camille's super nice. He's my round 1 opponent. That guy is super happy, very good at the game, very intelligent about the game. That was one of my toughest matchups in probably my entire Conquest career, is playing Camille. And I met Nick and Tim from Germany. Who we got here? We got Brandon from the UK. I already know Kyle. Fuck me, I'm looking at the names. Saxon from Australia. Emmanuel, who's Italian. This is gentleman's is King of Nothing. Super nice guy. We had a bunch of drinks later. After Chios ended, I got a message from Carl, like, while I was in the airport. He's like, "Hey, can you go to the duty free and bring bourbon?" And I go to the duty free and I look at it and I'm like, bourbon's just whiskey. There's like one... So bourbon is whiskey, but it's specifically American whiskey. That's why it's called bourbon, because they need to feel special. I just went and grabbed like a thing of whiskey when I drink with friends, and we got this really smooth, mellow... what the fuck was it? It's from Scotland. I couldn't even... Whiskey... what the fuck? If I type this in... Glenfield. We got some Glenfield. There we go. Super delicious. You know, shared that with everybody who came down and hung out with us on the last night. Emmanuel is there. Super nice guy. A lot of people brought their like their wives or spouses or partners or whatever. You know, got to meet them. Raymond was super nice. Carlos from Spain was super nice. Acadius, another Polish player, super nice guy. But like everyone was super nice. Everyone was really chill. We all got along. We all chatted. Like, it's one of those things where you want to like bring the wider parts of the community together and chat. And that's like one of the big things about Chios that I feel like a lot of people internationally like don't understand, is that it's a celebration of the game and bring different communities and different countries together to enjoy the game. Like, it doesn't feel like a very intense final. It's pretty laid back. The games themselves are very intense, don't get me wrong. People want to win. People want to be number one. But the whole lead up to it, everyone's super relaxed, everyone's enjoying themselves, and everyone is talking about Conquest, talking about a lot of other different subjects and things, and just getting to know each other and making new friends. Like, the Australians want us to come down to Australia and play in their big event. I want to go to London and play Brandon and the just running the Joshes now. We're, you know, inviting them to like North America, probably to play at Adepticon, so we'll see them there. But yeah, it brings the community together, and that's like the super nice thing about Chios. So that's what I really liked about it, was that everyone got along and we're together, and everyone started mixing and talking and seeing one another. So with that's kind of like, I guess, my opening remarks about Chios. If you can go to Chios, so things I do want to say about Chios is, like, if you can go to Chios, I would strongly recommend it. I know you gotta like climb that the World's Points ladder, and it is tough, especially with events and trying to get enough points and doing well at events. But if you do get the opportunity, I would strongly recommend going yourself. It's a blast. And I did have criticism where I'm like, hey, you got to make this thing bigger, like, or like bring it to Athens. No, keep it on the island. It wouldn't have the same feel if it was in Athens or somewhere in Greece. It kind of has to be on the island. It kind of has to be away. It's kind of like a retreat. It's a pain in the ass to get to, I'll admit. My flights to Chios, my Canadian flights, decided to have a bunch of mechanical failures, so I had to rush over, swap my flight from Toronto to Montreal, all this crazy crap. Finally landed in Chios. And then I had to like wait an extra 3-4 hours to get my flight from Athens to Chios, because I had to rebook it to make sure that I could properly get from Winnipeg to Montreal to Athens. So with all that, it was just kind of like, oh, it's a pain in the ass. But, you know, once I got there, I quite enjoyed it. I would just myself personally leave probably a day earlier. If I end up doing this again, I will 100% book it a day earlier. Come in early in Chios, run around on the beach. It'll be super nice. You do want to take the time to enjoy the beach, the ocean, the food, just to have yourself enough time, because a lot of the time I just felt it was like go. As for the 16 players, I still want to like criticize it. I was talking to Stravos, the owner, and he was like, he kind of got screwed over a little bit. There is a third hotel. He was talking to the owner of the hotel, and the guy was like, no, I'm not going to open. And so like he just didn't have space. So like my criticism is, you want more people to Chios, opening it up more, but also like it's very restricted on space on the island. There's very few hotels. You're in kind of the mountains on a beach. It's kind of weird, kind of thing. Like you're about half an hour away from the capital of Chios. So there's stuff like that where you're kind of just like, it's kind of difficult, but like once you're there, once you're settled in, it's magical. It's beautiful. I do think like maybe they gotta do some Airbnbs. There was some of that stuff where they were hoping like maybe do some Airbnbs to try and get some more people. There was also, there's a variety of different talks about where the game's at, the competitivity of the game, introducing new players. Like there's a bunch of round tables that happened at Chios about all the different stuff. I know the happy hour has gone out. This is recorded the next day, super early in the morning. To be honest, I was playing Silksong, quite an enjoyable game. Would highly recommend it. But there was a ton of talks about also, like, one of the things that was thrown out there was give give each region 2 seats, and if you don't do enough games to secure your second seat or something, it goes to another region that does. So like, the regions aren't fighting over seats as much, that they'll kind of get more. The US is still gonna like steal seats from regions that don't achieve enough, and so they'll still have their like 4 to 6 players kind of thing, or they split the US again back into 2 regions. But yeah, you can't make it any bigger because like the level of skill here. So Matthias, number 1, pretty good. Carl, number 1 in the US, pretty good. Emmanuel, number 1 in Italy, pretty damn good. Camille, pretty fucking good. I don't know what his ranking was, but I know he's pretty fucking good. Saxon, probably pretty good. Like, all these players are very, 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 very good at the game. And if you open it up more, what's going to happen is you're going to have people who kind of just like attend events, are not that, maybe not that good, but attend events they'll get in, and it won't have that prestige of like, this is the high skill level. Because one of the things that happened round 1 is they were doing 2 hours and 15-minute rounds while they should have done 2:30. Rounds 2, 3, and 4 were 2:30, and they should have had 2:15, because like every player has to make very high level choices in each of their games, and a bunch of games went to time. Going to 2:30, less games went to time, but still a lot of time was used. And because of like how good each of these players are, having something out by a millimeter is just death. Like, everyone's looking for that little tiny opportunity. That's how precise these games are. You have to play at your highest skill level. And to be honest, I think I did that. I think these 4 games are probably some of the highest skilled games I have played back to back to back to back. I was sweating. The most I was sweating was in rounds 1 and rounds 4, to be honest. We'll get into those games, of course. You know, there'll be a timestamp in the description if you want to skip all of this, my rambling and talking about Chios in general. But I just kind of want to talk about it. Like, it's worth it. It's good to go. They're like, Parabellum understands the restrictions of how they're doing their event at Chios. Hopefully they change up how they do getting spots for Chios. Hopefully they understand that, yeah, that has to stay in Chios, and I don't think Stravos is gonna change that, to be honest. Like, I do agree with him that it has to stay in Chios. I hope there's a way that they can get more people, like if it goes to 24 and you play until there's 1 undefeated, that might be the way to go, kind of thing. Like, who knows? That's all them, but I had a blast. I think I'm done rambling. I think you guys get my excitement for Chios, that it's 100% worth it. If you can go. It's totally worth it. Enjoy the games, enjoy the people, enjoy the food, enjoy the island, all that stuff. Tell Stravos that if you win worlds that you're allowed to submerge Yanni and Jello. Yanni, I'm sorry, man, you were very close to being submerged in Jello. So, let's get into my games. Let's get into round 1. I'm playing Camille. I might just pull up the lists from the Parabellum store, and I'll throw them up here. Okay, so here's Camille's list. He's got Kitsune Bakasu for the Warlord. This is the Fu. So you can find these in the Parabellum store. If I remember, I'll put them in the description below. I'm kind of have this one up just so I can kind of talk about it a little bit. I'm not going to go super in depth about everyone's lists. I myself have already talked about it, not on the channel, but with the Competent Conquest guys. So I kind of figured out, it took us a while to actually figure out what the hell was going on with this list, because once you do figure out, you go, oh, that makes a lot of sense. But I would also recommend watching Robert Shepard's video going through everyone's list. He does a fantastic job talking about it and understanding where a lot of the power is. I would say he's like going to give you a very fair assessment, as well as very good knowledge about what each of these is doing. Camille's list, off the bat, to be honest, kind of looks weird. There's 2 things that's going on here that we have to address about Camille's list. The first one is, where is it? It is, who has the, I'll find them. Is it the Oberon? No. Is it the Daimyo? The Daimyo. Okay. So the first one is Daimyo and Trial of the Hakari. He's under Sue. So what's going on here is that he has this modular regiment that is origami warriors, 1 kami, 1 tengu, and then 4 more origamis. So it's like 7 guys with the daimyo in it. And so what he's trying to do is he's trying to use Su to change the ideal card to the kami with the Tenacious 1 from Trials and the Tenacious 1 of the kami. So Tenacious 1, it'll just be like Tenacious 1, and then like this is Tenacious plus 1. However, because of how this works, and it's basically because of a Wadroon ruling that happened in the FAQ. So he's gonna have origami warriors. So he can have Tenacious 2 running up the table, and then when he gets into melee, he's gonna swap to the kami to be Tenacious 2 in melee against everything, and he can use Su to flip flop. And then if he needs damage, he can do Tengu Bushi to get like smite or some crap. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But due to the ruling, Trial will be Tenacious 1 and will not stack with the Tenacious 1 of the kami because it wasn't done during list creation. It's on the table when that flip happens, and that's why it doesn't work. So, Camille played about, I want to say like 45, 49-ish games with this list. Got clarification from everybody. It was found out by the Wadroon players when they finally looked at his list. And then it was brought up to him, I believe, at a round table before we played games the previous day. And Leo, to help Camille out, got Camille to change this artifact to like a hardened 1 artifact, basically. So his origami warriors, all his kami, he can still like Su the kami into like Indom 2, I believe, by the way. They get hardened 1. So this change was kind of like a fair balance thing because it was misinterpreted. Probably could have been done better or talked about, of course, but Camille's whole list is using the Su ideal to kind of flip-flop with stuff inside his units. I know the North American players were like, there's something in Su, but not right now. Camille's, pulling it out and showing its power. Camille's done a lot of work with this list, and he played it incredibly well, to be honest. But that's the big one there, and that kind of sucks. The other thing that also happened was that Peter, one of the 100k players, he was getting his army professionally painted. The painter got COVID, was unable to deliver the army before Peter went to Chios, so Parabellum got a bunch of sprues, and then Peter sat down while everyone else was on tour and built his 100k army. And that's why it's gray, so there's any gray horse photos if you see around, that's why. So because Peter, showed up basically without an army, not basically, he did show up without an army, what am I saying? They made the concession and, built an army. I believe like him, Yanni, and Reese were like just building all day, got it done. And because of this, Peter, he's playing a non-painted army, you gotta be painted at Chios. They allowed Camille to swap to the hardened 1 artifact. The points don't change. It's fine. I agree with them. I was 100% okay with this. Everyone was okay with this. It shouldn't fall onto the player to have that low misplay. I want to lose a game because my opponent outplayed me. I don't want to lose a game due to a rules misunderstanding or just a bad play or like maybe a mismeasurement or something. Like, a lot of players, like especially at high level, play by intent. We'll check the distance between 2 units, and then we'll come down to, oh hey, you wanted to be 13.1 away, right? And they're like, yeah, I did. And they're like, okay, cool, you're 13.1 away, even though it says like 12.8. I'll just bump you back a little. We're good. Cool. Next, let's keep going. That's how a lot of players, especially at high level stuff, play. You saw a lot of that at Chios. I know a lot of the players were doing that, being very cordial to their opponents with stuff like this because this is Worlds. This is for all the peanuts, all the bragging rights. But yeah, that's Camille's list. Let's get into round 1. Here we go, round 1. You'll have to forgive me if I miss anything. This is recorded almost 2 weeks later, to be honest. Spent some time in Greece after Worlds was done. Spent about 5 days, came home, relaxed. My sleep cycle's still a little messed up. Been getting up at 3 in the morning. But, we got to get recording done. We got to enjoy ourselves. So, first things first. This is our table. Let's talk about these tables. You're going to notice this table twice for sure. But we are using the Parabellum terrain placement. There are some issues with this. I'll do it in black. Firstly, this building is too close to that zone. It should be over here more. We did not catch that until like a couple rounds in and how stuff could fit. My other issue with these tables is that 1, 2, 3, 4 obstructions, and then it's 1, 2 forests, I guess. Like, oh, there's another one right here. I guess there's one right there. A little hard to see on the lava table, but whatever. Oh, there might be one back here. Yeah, there's one back here. I think Camille and I immediately ripped off all the trees. But I think all of Chios was either obstructions and forests, or there was a field or two. There was no water, there was no hills, there was no broken. So I would strongly recommend to Parabellum next year, you know, get more terrain. Also, 4 obstructions is not okay. You're gonna see this. I'm gonna put like a red line here. This is a grind zone. This is a grind zone. This is this is not fun. To be honest, you're gonna see this play out, but it's not fun having 4 obstructions. You take away a lot of the movability of stuff, especially because we're playing brick on brick action. You're just doing the wall light. This is not okay. There needs to be more spacing. Like, if it was just these 2, and you know you could do this, you know, you could wiggle around here, or you could wiggle around here. That's fine. But the 4 obstructions is really rough, and I basically played this fucking table twice, and I'm gonna be real honest, 4 obstructions suck. So, round 1, got my Raider and Shaman, you know, he's going for this flown. We're playing Decline Flank, so we're gonna be turning stuff on and off. I dislike Foresight to the point where I won't even play it. The Parabellum guys, mostly Reese, was like, it's Foresight, guys. And we're like, you're gonna be drowned in the ocean. We're not playing Foresight round 1. It was Decline Flank. Camille and I fucked up Decline Flank. I think it was like either our first or second card we'd realized like, oh, we have to turn off zones. Once again, Decline Flank is better than Foresight, but the reminder of turning off zones we completely forgot. Like every single round, and I thought we played for 7 rounds, we actually played to 8. Because I'm just, you know, checking all the photos as I upload all this. But anyway, Shaman Raider is making a play for that zone. Stalkers here, Horns of the Bull style in the middle. We are countered immediately by the big origami block. As you can see there, we have the Daimyo, we have the Kami, I think we have the Tengobushi, we got the Origami Warrior, then there's a bunch of them in the back there. That looks like a house. And then we got the 3 units of floating armor. They're just set up there to, you know, hit me if I overcommit or get into a better position or lead from the allow them to like push forward and use as a screen. But yeah, that's kind of turn 1. Let's get into turn 2. Here's turn 2. As you can see, majority of my list is up. Double trolls. Sword up troll is the Redbringer guy. He always dies fighting. Something that I did not bring up at all during any of my practice games or games up until Chios is that he gives impact 2 to his regiment, not just himself. I thought it was just him. So that actual regiment has, you know, impact 2 on all the trolls. It's kind of nice. Does help out a bunch, and I did use it on my final game to actually, I think, break a unit of men-at-arms to prevent scoring. The sword down guy, we'll just do him in orange over here, is the Tenacious 1 guy. That's how I differentiated the 2 upgrades. So we got double trolls, we got our goltr, we got our fenner, and we got our shaman and stuff. So right off the bat, things get turned off. This zone that he can score, my zone that I can score. One of my last cards is this Fenner Beast Pack that just kind of runs up onto the zone here from the side, just shoots up. Starts threat projecting this way to see if I can, leap between the 2 zones. That'll be really nice if I can secure that. Camille makes a smart play by countering with the spider, as well as making sure the spider is in range of his big block to heal it and give it +1 defense. I just run up both my trolls right up the middle. There's not very much a good spot for them. I'm probably going to need both to grind through that origami block. Stalker is running up there to provide a screen, as well as shoot the origami block. I think I do a couple wounds, nothing too crazy. goltr coming up here from the side to either split, I'll do orange, into the origami block as it comes down, or to the left to go fight anything that's coming for those raiders. That's really my setup there. As for the left side here, These turtles, they go into foo, and then they just shoot up and just touch the zone, so he's going to be scoring that, so scoring. The suits of armor kind of come up a little bit, putting pressure on me, but nothing too crazy. And then as you can see in the back here, he's got his Kappa block, and I think they have, I forget what exactly, they have something else in there, I want to say. I think they might have some Origami Warrior, like one Origami. But he's got his Kappa block over there that he's going to foo, and then, fluid reform and everything and be really big. So, like, he's using Sue a lot to flip ideals to try and, like, get more bonuses for either speed or stuff. So he's incredibly flexible with the list, and he's got a lot of ability and a lot of movement. That's turn 2. Let's go to turn 3. Here's turn 3. So, I'm going to score that. I don't score that. Spider doesn't score that. But Spider, makes the move to try and get onto the zone. Spider does buff these guys, but first things first, I move up Stalkers to set the line of engagement so that I can have control over this zone here. The Origami then, charge in, kill the Stalkers late in the game. I just charge one of my second troll block, I believe, from this position into them, because my first troll block was just sitting behind the Kami. Goltr still just hang out over here. Siotnar comes up the table. He's in a position where he can split between the two. So, once again, over here or over here. Raiders and Shaman, you're going to get sacked. So I bring up these Goltr right up here to try and outflank the two Kami. Early on, I do get my Shaman, I'll do it in orange, to cast Hoarfrost, and I kill one of the Demaro stands. They just back up and start shuffling this way. Another thing that gets pulled up is the Bowbirds right here, who then start trying to make shots into the trolls. Kind of tough right now because of the Origami block in the way, but he's going to move that thing around and get some shots. And then he puts a lot of pressure and blocks me off with his double Kami wall right here, securing the left side and putting pressure on me. He can't really, if he goes into me, I'll counterattack real hard, which he's not going to like. But these two obstructions are, once again, a huge pain in the ass and really preventing a lot of just, collapsing in on each other and doing a lot of work. So, that's what's going on over there. Yeah. But, we have this grind right here in the middle. That's going to be the big one. Will that block push through 2 units of trolls? Or will the 2 units of trolls push through that block? That's kind of the big question. On the left, I want to stall it as long as possible. On the center, I want to break it and push through. And then I want to split, and I want to kill basically everything this way. And then I have secure of 4 zones. He has secure of 2 zones. If I can contest and stall that out long enough, I will eventually score up to win. However, right now, he is scoring 1 zone, 2 zone. I am also scoring 2 zone. So let's get into turn 4 and see if that continues. Here's turn 4. I bring on my other Goltr. He brings on his melee birds right there. And I believe that's it for us, all of us. So, he throws down his no scoring on this zone. I throw my no scoring on this zone because he was getting pretty aggressive with it. I thought he was going to make a play for it, but me throwing no scoring on there was a mistake. I should have, tried to bait him in. I didn't. It kind of pushes him back because he's like, okay, well, you're not scoring that. I'm not scoring 2, I'm scoring 1. And he is scoring 1 and 2. So, he's up on points there. I probably should have let him in with his Kami, to be honest, and just, hit with the Siotnar. But we start playing chicken again with each other. I just get within 13 over here. Nothing much. He backs up his Kami because he has no reason to come into the Siotnar. The Siotnar kind of needs to get some work done. The Origami, they kill my trolls. They die fighting. I do some wounds. The big spider lady's been casting +1 defense and D4. Not looking too great. Stalkers are still shooting. Goltr are trying to see if they can get a side charge in later on, stuff like that. I believe that's what this proxy is right here for. I'm just trying to figure out positioning. The Siotnar's kind of moved up. Uroni being able to pick whatever they want to activate off their cards makes them incredibly flexible and fluid to the point where it's they can just stall in different areas. So their lack of cards, because one of the things about Camille's list is 10 cards. But right now, I've lost 2 units and a character, so now I'm also 10 cards, and he hasn't lost anything. I'm trying to maintain points on him, but he can probably just stall this out and probably be in a good spot to win. So I'm gonna have to like keep pushing forward to do damage. These bowbirds, shot trolls. The armor moved over. They can shoot through the armor. Nothing too crazy there. This is kind of like a positioning turn before all shit's gonna hit the fan. A lot of checks are done to make sure we can get around these like obstructions, and we can do so properly. So goltr can get into the side here if they need to. Chios can get over there if he needs to. Stuff like that. I do believe Camille's commie block in its current position is to prevent the Chios from getting in, but I don't think it's going to prevent the trolls and the goltr from getting in. So hopefully I can do enough damage and kill it, and then before the spider heals and defense buffs it. So yeah. Alright, let's get into turn 5. Here's turn 5. Oh, so there was a mistake here. I want to explain this. This is a mistake on my end. So one of the last things that Camille did is that he killed my troll block with his origami. And the thing is that I actually grabbed these guys, health token and pip down. They're actually alive on like 2 health. Because what happened was that these bowbirds shot them because they couldn't see the other trolls. So my guys are still alive. Camille graciously allowed me to rewind that. That was a mistake on my end. I grabbed the wrong pip. Because I usually don't have these trolls back to back like this, but I kind of have to because of the grind. What means he's still jammed stuck in there. It was the last activation, so it doesn't change much. We redid our decks anyway, just to make sure, after I informed him of the mistake, and he was gracious enough to do that. Camille, once again, phenomenal player, super humble, and he also believes in like winning a game, not like based on a mistake like that. So, this is turn 5, so they're still locked in. Trolls, blooded rallies, trolls go, heal, stab. The origami and everything didn't really do a ton of damage. Or is this, nope, this is the exact same photo. So we only did play to 7, I just have the same photo twice because I didn't delete it. Okay, good job me. This is how it ended. Cool, let's actually go to turn 6 or 5 or whatever the fuck it is. Okay, here we go. So after the mistake, as you can see here, that troll brick is still there. They heal, rally, heal, clash, do a bunch of damage. My other unit of trolls shuffles over to stay on the zone, but that does free up room for the goltr to get into that brick, and the Chios to like shuffle over and charge and throw his weapon. So they're down to like 1 stand left. Camille realizing that he's still stuck in with trolls and he isn't pushing through as effectively as he wanted to. Makes the play finally with the commie. They don't go for the raiders. They don't charge them. Instead, he just walks in the zone, and his character counts as 3 stands for scoring, so he's going to score that zone. I, with my goltr, set up in a position to countercharge him if I get my raiders in to free up enough space that the goltr doesn't go in. So raiders into the commie, then goltr into the commie, and that should start working on that. I do march charge these goltr into these commie. I think that one has like a couple wounds left. His commie smacked back. The goltr has like a wound left. So he's still scoring this. So he's scoring that and he's scoring that. I think he's denied this. I've denied that. So I'm only scoring this. And I run up here to score this. I think the giant spider's just touching it, but it's contested. So in actuality, no one's scoring this. Because it's kind of go time at this point. The brick in the middle is dying. I need to die a little faster so I can just shove all these regiments down into the middle and kill everything else. The left side, hopefully the raiders live a little longer. They're not. And that goltr, he's probably going to die. But hopefully I can kind of kill something over on the left. Kill the brick, push through. Do well that way. And yeah. So I'm scoring 1 to his 2, so he's once again still up on points. But I need to take this to the end game, and let's get into, I think, turn 6. Or, yeah. Here's turn 6. On the left, I got to go first with my goltr. Goltr stabs, kills them. I'm like, yeah, I'm alive on 1 wound. I can rally and just score this out. This will be amazing. Kitsume Bakasura just stabs him to death and kills him. And I'm like, oh, great. Well, okay, well, there's that. Next thing you can see on the left is the Raiders, I think, eventually go. They charge in. So either the Kami charge in and do some damage. No, they doesn't look like they really did much damage, to be honest. So either the Raiders charge in, do a bunch of damage, and the goltr, you know, just kind of hit from the side. I think they did a bunch of damage on their impacts, killing off a guy so they can no longer touch. But they're on that zone, so I think it's 3 to my 4, so I'll score that. Yay! Turned off. Something's around. I think this one got turned off. Doesn't really matter. On the right side, Giant Spider wins the Fenner fight. Kills. Cool. In the middle, Trolls, goltr, Siotnar finally break the brick. This freaking King goltr over here, we'll do you an orange, fuck it. Basically takes 2 units in the flank, but it does allow them to open up, you know, from some shots. And the goltr does kill off one of the birds. But now the middle's free, so I can now kind of like swing around. But I do believe this is turn 6 out of 7 that we played, because, you know, time is coming up. And at this point, I've finally broken out, and I can start spreading around and trying to like kill some stuff. So let's get in turn 7. Here's turn 7. I will say the bowbird is still alive. The goltr, I think, killed like the trolls killed the Dormu, the suits of armor. The bowbird runs off, but it's basically gonna get shot by these stalkers next. Siotnar runs up, reforms, throws his anchor, kills some guys. He sues these bowbirds way the fuck over here to score that. Good on him. We both turn this off and this off. He then runs his spider over onto the zone. I then reform my other trolls to run that way. And lastly, the goltr and the shaman and raiders kill off the last Kami. And then time is called. So if we had 15 more minutes, because they only did 2:15 first round, I think I win this, weirdly enough. So, like, the trolls have to kill the bird, these, and then the other trolls are heading towards the spider. The Siotnar is probably just hanging out over there, and the stalkers are, I don't know, they're running somewhere. But I'll get the spider in a grind with the trolls to eventually kill that. And then I have the goltr, who, even if they do, like, march charge, get stuck in, as long as they're touching that zone and stopping from scoring, I can get enough points to score out. But at this point, we both keep turning off one, so he's scoring 1 zone while I'm scoring 3 zones. So he's scoring 1 to my 2. So I climb up enough points, turn 7, 8, 9, and 10 to go to a tie. So I'm gonna do that now. There you go, 28 to 28. And as you can see, I'll do it in blue here at the bottom. 2 points, 4 points. So eventually caught back up, but at that point in the game, I have more regiments than him. 3 more turns, 8, 9, 10. Could have gone to victory, but it is a draw. Camille, I do have to say, is a fantastic opponent. We did chat about this game and that how Tenacious 2 changes the math up on a lot of things, and not having it, instead having Harden 1. I do agree with him. As you saw from the happy hour, they did get rid of Tenacious 2 from Euroni, and also from the shooting. It was a lot. Overall, probably like one of the best games I've ever had in my entire Conquest career. Like, Camille's a fantastic opponent and a fantastic player. He's really knowledgeable. He's really good at the game. I only have praises to sing for this man. This game was incredibly tough. I would have loved it to see what happens at round 10. We kind of chatted it out, but he was like, it's like, yes, he still gets to make plays. At that point, I do feel advantaged, but we do get to see if, like, does the spider kill off enough stuff to prevent me from getting in? Does the, what is it? Does the bowbirds kill the goltr, just shoot the raiders to death, prevent me from scoring over there, and they just kind of hang out, double scoring that? Like, there's still a lot of opportunity here to, like, eke out a win for Camille, but it ending in a draw, super great game. We shook hands, hugged it out. This was one of the toughest games I think I've ever played. So yeah, that was round done. Let's get into round 2. All right, so here's round 2. I'm playing into Arcadius. How do you spell his name? Let's find out. It is Arcadius. Okay, so Arcadius is playing Old Dominion. Once again, not going to go through the list. Once again, they're on the Parabellum mode side. Just hit up the big things. Ziliarch Warlord, he's got a bunch of upgrades. I'm be real, I forget what half this shit does. His Supremacy, he's going to be using it to either double clash if I'm stuck in melee with him, but the big one is it's going to allow like a March charge clash, so he's going to have a lot of threat projection. That's what I more see it as, because one of the big things, he's running a big Brick of Praetorian that he's going to be sitting in. He's going to have like Aura of Death a bunch. He's going to be up to Bastion or Defense 5, all this crazy crap. He's got a Varangian Guard, and he's got a big block of Athanatoi. So he's got 3 big blocks. Athanatoi are fine just running around by themselves. Memory of Old Parry isn't, you know, you don't really care. They're 6 attacks each with Clash 3. They are 4 wounds with Tenacious 1, and he has got 5 stands of them, so there's plenty of them. Then he's got, I think, like 3 units of Legionaries. One of them is carrying the Archimandrite. Double Curatids for the shooting support with Barrage 3, you know, AP2 from 20 inches away. And he's got a unit of Cultists with the Hero Deacon to just kind of get his Dark Power generating. So the big thing off the top with his list is that the Supremacy ability allowing him to March, Charge, Clash, or Double Clash if you're too close. You got to be careful about that. But also he's running 3 big bricks. They're pretty survivable, you know, 5 wounds on 2 of them with 5 stands each, and then another 4 wounds with 5 stands. And with taking no resolve, they're gonna live a bit longer than you expect, but they are big bricks, and you can kind of like get them stuck in and hit from the sides and stuff, and that's how you tend to deal with this. So that's generally what's kind of going on with Arcadius' list. Let's get back to that round 1. Here we go, round 1. Got the Shaman Raider and the Stalkers. We're playing head-to-head, so that's a friendly zone to my opponent. That's a friendly zone to me. Once again, the same goddamn motherfucking table. Jesus Christ. I think they might have thrown on an extra piece of terrain here. They did, I'll do it in black. They did adjust this, and they did adjust this because it was like, hey, your terrain table setup breaks the rules. We got to move the terrain over so you can fit 3 across. I still don't like this table layout, to be honest. But as you know, in head-to-head, you need to make a play for the 9-inch zone to start scoring, and you need to protect your 6-inch zone and take your opponents for that extra points, and it's also a kill point mission. So turn 1, Arcadius gets Hero Deacon and the Cultists. I get Double Stalker and the Raiders. Raiders and Shaman immediately make a play for the zone. They can sit there to start off. That'll get some early scoring. Double Stalkers in the middle. Just because of how the table's set up, I'm kind of fine with this. I'm already thinking about how to get Trolls down. I'll use orange. Down into this. Due to how the other table played, I figured out that you can basically, I'll do it in black, you just run the Raiders up, you then move them over, and you just do a reform so that the captain's standing like right here and the Shaman's it's like over here. And there's that, and then you just kind of run like goltr up here. The other orange arrow, that's your Trolls who run up. And you basically just have this regiment just sitting right in front of this building. That was the play I figured out this game, and I basically just take that for every other game that uses this terrain layout. What's gonna be the next one? God damn it. So yeah, that's kind of what's gonna go over on the left. You'll see that shortly enough. The Double Stalkers in the middle, just because of how crowded that left side is, I just run them down the middle because my idea here is that I'm just going to push down the middle at some point, break, and then flex left and right to secure both zones. Also, I'm kind of fine Stalkers shooting at half shots into Hunter, what the fuck is it, Cultists, because if I can just kind of kill them off with shots, even if they're at half shots, I'll take it. It's losing the character in the car and the 2 cards isn't going to be huge, and that's also kill points. Let's get into turn 2. So here's turn 2. As you can see, we got the Trolls. Raiders immediately move up. They had to double mark to get there, so I didn't, start the side shuffle already. I kind of make sure that my ass will cover the building here, swing it over. I throw my goltr down this side because I know they're going to be relevant because that 9-inch matters so much. So that's kind of what's all going on there, and then you got the Trolls. I picked the kill blooded with the Redbringer. Civet attacks does wonders, and also always die fighting also does wonders. As you can also see, Stalkers move up. There's no reason not to. My opponent didn't really get that many cards. He's got the Legionnaires and the Archimandrite. He's got the Zilliarch and his Praetorian block. The goltr, you know, coming into the flank of that Praetorian block is going to do a huge amount of work. Defense 5 is going to be nothing, down to defense 1 with the charge. And then the clash is going to be D2. So they're going to get, those goltr are going to be doing a fantastic amount of job. Lastly, the Fenner. You're defending my zone, and then you can, you know, make a play for my opponents if he's not going to defend it very well. So there's that. Curatids, you know, they kind of come up the table. I just stay outside of, you know, shoot range of them. No reason to give some free shots. And yeah. Oh, so these trolls are going to be going up the middle of the table. They're just going to run and hop those stalkers at some point. That's fine. You know, we can get into that grind. If there's, you know, stalkers might be able to get some opportunist shots in the flank. That's going to be really well for me. But I'm already putting that pressure on my opponent. And let's get into turn 3. Here's turn 3. Another unit of goltr show up, and the Chios shows up. As for my opponent, Legionaries, big block of Athanatoi, Varangian Guard, and this is Varangian Guard, and then the another unit of Legionaries. So I think the only thing missing from my opponent's list is the second Curatid unit, and for mine is the third goltr unit. As you can see here, shots fired with the stalkers into the cultists. Cultists fire shots back into another unit of stalkers. Our trolls at one point just double march up, hopefully trying to get into the cultists before the Athanatoi show up. But Athanatoi were one of the last cards dropped. He kind of runs them up the table here. It's going to be hard for him to flex left, but they're a fine unit to flex right down the middle to do a bunch of work. I think Curatids actually also shot the Stalkers, did a bunch of wounds. On the right side, I bring up my Fenner. My Fenner, you know, there's a high chance that they're going to get the charge clash into Legionaries. If I can kill 2 stands, I can take that zone. Praetorians just kind of move up the table. Raiders, Shaman, Trolls, you know, they just shove over. Trolls move up, scoring that zone, staying ahead on points. goltr get into a position to collapse. Chios get into a position to follow up. Legionaries and protecting the Varangian Guard, but they're not gonna be, you know, they're gonna die, but they're not. I don't like. He needs to. How do I explain this? He needs to get them killed in such a way that he can immediately just like get into Varangians after, and just not have them just immediately explode. So yeah, there's kind of stuff like that. I have no reason to get close to him. I gotta watch out for Supremacy. Next turn, he does use the Supremacy, so I guess we'll get into that and talk about it. Alright, turn 4. He wins the roll-off, Supremacies, gets his Athanatoi into my Trolls, does a ton of damage. Trolls then rally, regen, clash, do a couple damage. Stalkers, you know, I get some flank shots, I get some shots, you know, do some work into the Trolls. goltr fucking gets stuck on this goddamn rock. So basically, this rock is gonna be my fucking nightmare. This goltr unit just is having a rough time trying to get around, and I eventually just kind of like move it in such a way that hopefully I can kind of get around next turn, free up some space. Fenner Beast Pack, charge, kill off 2 stands. I'm scoring this now. Curatids come up, shoot, do a couple wounds, nothing too crazy. These guys, I think they shot, then fluted again. I don't remember, or they shot. It doesn't really matter. Cultists tried shooting. The Trolls are doing fine. goltr, you know, if the Trolls die, the double goltr down the middle is going to be fine to just kind of chew. I'll just be in orange. Chew all that. That's all perfect goltr targets, to be honest. Legionaries don't like goltr. Cultists don't like goltr. Curatids don't like goltr. Basically, none of this like goltr. And the Athanatoi are down to 2 stands. So as long as those Trolls hold on, or even if they don't, like, goltr are coming for them. On the left side, he sends his Legionaries in. goltr kill him. Then the Praetorians charge in. Trolls, Raider Shaman. I think even the Chios, he was able to drop an anchor on them, did a ton of work. Dropped them down to 3 stands. We are tied there, so no one scores. Varangian Guard just kind of walk up the table. So Not bad, to be honest. Survived the Supremacy turn. Varangian Guard are in a good spot right now, however there are goltr protecting. So if Varangian Guard want to get on the zone and fight Raiders and Trolls, there's goltr and Siotnar. If the Varangian Guard want to get in the goltrs, there's a Siotnar, so there's enough work over there. Down the middle, we'll see if those Trolls live. If they don't, we can send goltr down it. On the right side, I'm kind of fine with the Fenner pulling shots away from the rest of the army, as well as scoring my opponent's zone. If I do lose the Fenner before killing off the Legionaries, my opponent might have to try and like run, do it in purple here, run this one stand of Legionaries onto the zone. But I do have Stalkers that hopefully can just kind of shoot them to death before they get there, who can flex around. So that, I think, is turn 4. Let's go into turn 5. It's either 5 or 6, I don't remember. So on the right side, Fenner, kill off Legionaries. Curatids, just charge, kill Fenner. They're dead. Done. Trolls, kill off the Athanatoi. goltr, get a march charge into cultists, do a ton of damage. I then run up my stalkers here just to try and get them out of the way. Other unit stalkers, they either shot a Thanatoi or whatever. Curatids, shoot at goltr, shoot at stalk, let's shoot somebody. On the left side, we have the the goltr charged into the Varangians, killed off 2 stands of Varangians. Pardon me. What the fuck did these guys do? I totally forgot. I think they killed off the goltr, that's for sure. I think they then moved up. Then the Siotnar charged in, did some damage, nothing too crazy because he couldn't really get into the Praetorians. So, but then, as you can see here, there's a grind going on between the Praetorians, who are down to 1 stand, and 2 stands of Trolls and Blooded, and the Captain, the Shaman fighting. Everyone's kind of just moving over fighting. And lastly, my goltr unit just gets into position here to fill the gap if anyone dies. Arcadius, to secure that zone because we're stalled out, moves up his Legionaries so that he can score. But if the Varangian Guard don't live, or someone dies here, I'm gonna push through, and then those Legionaries are gonna get eaten up because they clearly can't sustain. He scores that. I don't score anything, but the middle is gonna start opening up with these goltr units, the other Trolls, the other Stalkers. If I can kill these Curatids, I can score the 4-pointer, and that's gonna be worth more than the 3-pointer. And also, I've been scoring that a bunch, so I just have to stall out, maintain, keep going. Let's get into turn 6. Yeah, here's turn 6. So we did play turn 7, but I'll explain it at the end of turn 6, but it was really quick because I totally forgot. I win the roll off. Siotnar kills off the last Varangians. Then he declares a charge into the Legionnaires, drops an anchor on them. I did go through the the hindering terrain, so I don't get my impacts. I could have moved over, so I did, but I didn't. The Praetorians die to the Trolls. Then the Zilliar kills the Trolls. Shaman, Raiders, and goltr all just kind of crowd the zone to score it out. So I score that. And then the Legionaries reform, try and fight this Siotnar, do a couple wounds, but nothing crazy. These Stalkers just reform and shoot the Legionaries in the back. These Stalkers move up. Trolls just march charge, lock down these Curatids. Or they charge clash, I don't know, they killed one it looks like. Curatids are just constantly shooting at goltr. Goltr not doing so well, but hey, you're stalling, that's fine. And then these Stalkers, they might have just shot at... I'll just do it in orange. They might have just shot these Curatids for shits and giggles, because why not? But yeah, that's kind of it there. Turn 7, I'll just do it in black. These guys die, I score that zone. These guys die, and then we call it there. Arcadius has 1 unit left on a zone. The Trolls are just going to reform and charge, and we're going to grind it out for a turn or 2, and then I'm going to score that probably last turn, or if I'm lucky, turn 9. But at that point, it's declared we're done. So that was round 2 and a win. I got a draw and a win day 1. Overall in this game, I believe I played it pretty well. Put my activations in the right spot. I think I force distributed correctly. I picked proper plays. I think Arcadia should have dealt with the Fenner, not with shooting, but with like a melee unit. The Legionaries defending should have been fine, but they could have pulled back to allow for the Curatids to... I'll just clean this up. Where is it? I'll just do it in purple. So, like, you know, you got the Legionaries here. We'll have the Curatids coming from the flank, kill off the Fenner. In a side charge kind of thing. Get the Resolve, get the Terrifying 1. It's kind of like a big stall right here, but I think he should have threw his Praetorian block down the middle to kind of plug me, because he had better options due to how I had to engage on the left, just due to the buildings, so I had less stuff I could get in onto the zone and swing around to support. I had to do it in a really weird process just because of all that. But yeah, I've played this table twice and I hate it. But let's go to the score. So there's the score, 59-13. Overall, really good game. Cadius was a good opponent. Super polite, we chatted. Nice gentleman. But Old Dominion at the time, to be honest, probably isn't doing the best. After the happy hour update, we'll see. I didn't really read too deep into Old Dominion currently, so we'll find out how that goes. But day 2, a win and a draw, or sorry, day 1. Day 1, a win and a draw. Very happy about my performance so far. Let's get into day 2 and round 3. So round 3, I'm playing into Brandon, the UK Chios player. He is running Predator, you know, with the Hunters. You got Fire and Advance with these guys. Sure Shot, True Shot, whatever the fuck. Unit Raptors, Unit Slingers, Quaddle. Matron Queen, who's going to be healing with Double Braves, Apex. She's not riding them, by the way. And Sign of War with Chosen of War. So the big thing to take away from his list is that he's got 3 heavies. He's got Double Apex and Scion and Chosen of War. Scion of War is his Warlord. I once again have no idea what his actual supremacy was. All I know is that Chosen of War, when they chant, they get Tenacious and Cleave 2 kind of thing. Oh, look, there's all these. I don't care. I'm not reading them. Because we're not be going into lists super hard. Overall, I liked it, but I think it's over-reliance on heavies, to be honest. And we were joking around. It's like, due to the laws of aviation, there's no way that the Apex Predator can die to goltr. That's the hint. Let's get into the game. So here's round 1. First things first. Slingers. Hunters with the Predator. I got both my Stalkers and my... what the hell is it? Shaman Raiders. Once again, kinda the same fucking layout. Wow, who would have thunk it? Guess what my move for the Shaman Raiders are? Oh, they're gonna sit right here at some point. Wow, who would have thought? That's it. You know what? I'll just redraw. That's a terrible square. Getting tired. Yeah, we're, you know what? We'll just delete that square. We don't have to look at it. Much better. So he's gonna eventually go over there. Horns of the Bull once again. Just, you know, set up that shooting gallery. Right side. I'm gonna admit right now, I think Brendan should have put something over here. A Quaddle would have been fine, an Apex would have been fine. But I also know he doesn't get very good reinforcement rolls this games, and things kind of come on late, what does not help him. While my list has a much better reinforcement curve, so you're gonna see turn 2 where I like have a ton of stuff. But overall, we're already making plays. We're kind of just playing for like these 2 zones right now. It's fine. We'll see how the 3rd zone opens up. This is Maelstrom. And I, once again, already hate the 4 fucking obstructions. Still terrible. Let's get on turn 2. Here's turn 2. Here's my entire list. Got all my goltr. The only thing missing is my Siotnar. This does give Brendan a ton of knowledge about what's going on. Already, you know, making the plan to get the Raiders over. Already getting the Trolls onto the zone. Already supporting with the goltr over here. Then my other unit of Trolls, very similar to how I played into Arcadius. And I start using the double Stalkers as kind of a wall to lead up. We start, you know, kind of making to look to get some pot shots into here. I think I shot him, and then the Queen walks on with the Braves, and wherever she is heals them. That's fine. No one's, you know, playing around with flirt ranges. I get the Fenner, just shoot up onto the zone. That'll be a score. That'll be a score in a really good spot. The other 2 goltr units, I got one who will flex this way in case Brandon wants to defend or, you know, contest that. The other unit that needs to contest this way. But my big issue is that my Siotnar doesn't have a target, because all of Brennan's force is concentrated into this little pocket right here. And I know I cannot get... There's no reason for me to get aggressive right now, so I'm just going to kind of hang out. Let's get into turn 3. Here's turn 3. Slinger, shoot. Stalkers, shoot. Shoot. Trolls move up to defend. Secure this zone. Fenner, secure this zone. The Scion and his Chosen of War coming down the middle. With that, I drop the Sea Jotnar down the middle to support. Support again with the goltr. These goltr are still flexing because there's another Apex and Quaddle still not on the table. As well as, I think, a unit of Braves, to be honest. Raptor Riders just coming up the table. Apex hiding behind the Slingers. I did think about March charging the Raptor Riders, or sorry, the Raiders into the Slingers to tie up that Apex, but I thought that was a bad idea, just because I'd have to, like, tie him up in a bunch of spots to like, keep him back, and the line of engagement back here was fine. I just didn't think I was in the correct position to do that just yet, because I'm still playing very conservatively. I'm still scoring everything. And I'm still in a strong spot. Also, this goltr unit walked up and basically reformed so I can fucking get out of here. My only issue is I forget that, I'll just circle in purple. Raptor Riders have fluid formation. Don't forget that Raptor Riders have fluid formation, because it'll hurt you. As it is about to hurt me in round 4. So let's go there and see how it hurts me. Here's round 4. So, Quaddle, another Apex. That's what comes on. Apex, March charges the goltr, doesn't do any damage, is stuck with goltr. Goltr, one of my last activations, just clash, trample, and kill the Apex. Just straight up. It's like, oh, okay. Raptor Riders then charge into the Raiders, kills the Raiders, they're dead. That's not good. Oh boy. Didn't like that. Did not need that. Trolls, just charging the Raptor Riders, kill off a stand. That's not good. Quaddle, you know, he's coming up the table. Braves coming up the table. There's going to be a lot of firepower over here. Hopefully I can weather it, but as you can see, my Trolls are not in a really good position to try and kill the Raptors quickly and keep pushing forward. goltr are there, and the other Apex has deployed. So I know that on the right side here, these Fenner are basically going to sit there the entirety of the game. And these goltr now need to start swinging this way. Sea Jotnar moves up, kills off some Stalkers. You know, Stalkers right there. Or sorry, not Sea Jotnar. Chosen of War move up, kill off some Stalkers that I put up there to kind of shoot. goltr, then charge, clash, kill off a guy. Get in there. The Matreon and her Braves march charge, kill off one of the Stalkers. Trolls are standing right behind. Sea Jotnar moves up so that he can get in the way later. And we're kind of in that spot. So that is the end of turn 4. I'm still scoring 2 zones. My opponent still hasn't scored anything. But that that left side zone is probably going to die, and then, you know, he's going to just swing around this way and hurt me. So I'm not in a really good spot, but we'll see how well the Trolls grind and where that leads to. Let's get into turn 5. 5? Yeah, 5. Here's turn 5. So, goltr, kill Raiders, and then the Quaddle charges into the Trolls. Trolls heal, Trolls and the Blooded stab back. The Quaddle's down to like 2 life. Woo! However, the Braves double march onto the zone, so they will score that because they have 3 stands to my 2, because the Stalkers shoot my goltr. What is the correct move? Once again, things that are going on the right, I believe my goltr do some damage to these Scions, or Chosen of War, so, you know, they're down another stand. However, they clash, kill the goltr, then they back up. Then my Sea Jotnar, what generates enough space for the Apex to charge the Sea Jotnar. So we'll just put an Apex stand right here in blue. We'll put a Sea Jotnar stand in red. The Apex 1 rounds the Sea Jotnar and it dies. However, I did have it set up that the goltr could side charge anything that came into the Apex, or sorry, into the Sea Jotnar. What it does, and they kill off the Apex. So right now we're in that peace trading. The Trolls still alive on the left side is really good for me. I need that to stall out, because one of the big things that I'm doing is I'm just farming points over here on the right. In the middle, between the Stalkers and the Braves, you know, he's not really killing my Stalkers or Braves because he wants to get he's stalling me there. what is fine, but I am also once again scoring points here. I will need those stalkers out of the way for the trolls to get work in, because the trolls with the blooded will do more work into the braves than the braves will into the trolls. And if I can kind of get another unit of goltr into the Scion of War, I'll be in a really good spot. So yeah, that's turn 5 or 6, something. I know this goes to 10, so let's get into the next round, what might be 7. Alright. Goltr, one of my first moves with the goltr is I actually move them back. And the big reason I move them back is so that I can keep them safe from the Scion of War. The Matreon brings back a stand, and he reforms and gets onto the zone, so he will score it, I believe, because he has 3 minimum to my 4. He does kill the stalkers, or the stalkers clash and move back, and then, you know, the trolls and the stalker or the braves get into a fight. These trolls clash, kill the quaddle. And I was going to charge it. I should have charged, to be honest, into like these guys, but I didn't because my goltr then charged into them, but just didn't do enough damage, killed the stand. So he is going to score that. Well, once again, still scoring this. But I decided I'll charge them here. I failed charge, and now I got like slingers and hunters just lighting me up. Not in a good spot. Don't really like it that much. Would try again. But this is not a good spot for me. I'm kind of like, oh, this isn't really good. I don't think I'm going to kill everything, but I am ahead on points. I can maybe win if we still stall. But there's something I realized. I think it's this turn. I'll do it in purple. 1, 2, 3. He has 3 regiments left that can score. I have 4 regiments that can score. They're braves, so braves will die pretty easily. If I can start killing everything that he can score, I can maybe stall long enough that I can just like get a points lead, and if he takes over 2 of the zones, I'll still win. So let's get into turn maybe 8, and we'll see how that goes. So very well, it goes very well. Trolls kill off these braves and the queen. Yay! When the Scion of War kind of shuffles, and I eventually get the goltr into the Chosen of War, do a bunch of damage. I have more stands on it, so I'll score this and I'll score this. Blooded charges the braves with the trolls, kills them off, but gets lit up by the hunters and the slingers, so I will not score that because they're broken. But at this point, all I need to do to win is kill off the Scion of War and his Chosen of Conquest, or sorry, Chosen of War. And Brandon can't score anymore, and I win the game because I've been just farming the Fenner over on the right side. The Quaddle, to be honest, should have just been over here. Gone for the Fenner. He could have won that fight. Pulls goltr off the middle to contest with and like kill off the Quaddle, and forces me to have less stuff because that one unit of goltr is doing a lot of work right now by preserving it, killing stuff, pulling it back out, killing more stuff. What's a move I actually learned from Camille in our round 1 game, because he did that thing with the Kami where he just backed up, and I was like, damn it, I can't get to you. So at this point, I feel like I'm in a really good position, because the Chosen of War have to go chew through the goltr, then they gotta chew through the trolls. Trolls are gonna be regenning, he doesn't have any healing anymore. If I can survive all the shots, I'll be in a really good spot. So let's get into maybe turn 8, turn 9? I don't know, we'll find it. It doesn't matter. There'll be a thing up there for you. I forgot because of how long this game goes. Alright, so goltr die. And trolls charge in and do some damage. Trolls on the right here. Oh, that obviously is what happened. Just get shot up and die. And slingers start making their way this way. So he's got 1 stand of Chosen of War left. If I kill that, the trolls, they're fine, but score. I've won this game at this point. Let's just quickly get through the next couple rounds. There we go. Scion of War and Chosen of War dead. Boop. And then we have shots, trying to kill me, prevent me from getting points. I go okay, still scoring. I believe next turn is round 10, and then we're done. There we go. Rally back up, force my opponent to move. You know, he moves, less shots. I don't break, so I double score. And that's the game. We'll go to the score. But yeah, basically, Brendan not throwing anything on the right side to contest the Fenner really allowed me to just grind with everything else on the left side of the table, middle and left here, to the point where I took away all his scoring options so he couldn't even contest. The trolls do really well when they get into a grind, and yeah, let's see that score. 24 to 5. Overall, really good game. I think Brendan could have played this a little better. As mentioned before, that Quaddle is a flex piece. He didn't need to be with the rest of the people. They were kind of doing all fine. Even with loose formation, the Quaddle can still out-threaten the Fenner. So he could have shot, charged, clashed, done a lot of work. Maybe put me down to a stand, score the zone, and then win it next turn if that's really comes down to. And that forces me to pull resources away. But the consistency on that right side is what really won me the game there, as well as allowing me to commit majority of my resources to the active fights, and not just have a Quaddle just kind of like sitting off to the side on the edge of the zone, scoring it and shooting at me, what is never fun. But Brendan was a fantastic opponent, really good player. Quite enjoyed his list and his take on Wadroon. We were joking around about the Apexes. Like, they shouldn't die to goltr, but every time they got into goltr, they just died. And he killed my Chios. He's like, yes, I'm in a good spot. And I'm like, you remember what happened to the other Apex? And he's like, no. He's like, please don't. And I like side charged him with my goltr, and charge, clash, trample, in the flank. So much damage, it just died. I don't even think we got to the trample on that one. It was dead. So yeah, let's get into round 4. All right, so I'm playing Andrew, also known as Huckleberry Smash, or we call him Huckleberry, who is playing 100k. He's playing 100k horses. He's got Mounted Noble Lord with, Art of War, Weapon Master. Art of War, pretty good. Because I think he's 11, or he's either 11 with Goes to 12 because the Art of War was really nice. And just, declaring it, be like, go whenever you want is super cool and kind of worth it. It's something that I've not been seeing a lot of. Also, I don't think I've played into much 100k recently who does use it, but when you do use it, it's 100% worth it. So he's got a Mounted Noble Lord Warlord with double Household Knights, Men-at-Arms, and a unit of Mounted Squires. Mounted Squire is really nice coming up from the table, setting that line of reinforcement, as well, mostly because you're going to be running double Prior Commander of the Crimson Tower, who one of them has Caliburn and the tip of the lance in a 5-stand unit of Order of Steel Temple, who are going to fluid into like a big wall and then shoot out, and then, he's got tip of the lance for wedge and Caliburn for reroll. It's going to be a fucking mess. This is a big hammer piece, does a ton of damage, it's terrifying, it's really mean. Then he has another unit of Order of Crimson Tower, but followed up by, wow, a second Prior Commander with, oh my god, more Crimson Tower and more Sealed Temple. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 because of Art of War. Yeah, that's kind of where you want to be. The Sealed Temple Fluid Formation with the Crimson Tower character for that terrifying one and that extra impact and damage, as well as the Brutal, does a lot of work. All the command stands have Flurry. All the characters have Flurry. You get +1 attack and a hardened 1 on your Supremacy turn with the Prior Commander. Reroll 6s on the Household Knights is going to keep them around a long time. They're still susceptible to cleave, but they're going to do a fantastic job. I quite like this list. And you need to be really careful about the Fluid Formation Order of the Sealed Temple. Andrew does get me with this, and I'll point that out when we play the game. So let's get into round 1. Yeah, here we go. So we're playing Grind Them Down, one of the worst scenarios in the pack. I don't know why. I think they just didn't want 2 kill point scenarios in this tournament. They're like, yeah, we'll do Grind Them Down. I'm like, great. So first thing I do, once again, Raider, Shaman, going for that zone. I don't get my second Stalkers, so I just run one up right into the woods, across from his Mounted Squires, because I'm shooting him, I get stuck in the woods, and I can collapse if he overcommits. But also because I'm generating space. Oh wow, look, I'm playing on a table that doesn't have a bunch of fucking obstructions all over the place. So we can actually move places. Wonderful! And yeah, I'll do it in green. For forests. Once again, Chios Train, not that great. I don't like the pre-made trains layouts from the pack, if this is what it's going to be. This one is better, but two of these forests could have been something else. Stuff like that. Like, it's kind of rough. The 4 pieces of obstruction on one table is too much. Stop. That's actual feedback. Please don't. But yeah, that's turn 1. Let's go to turn 2. Oh, there's Andrew. He's very happy. So turn 2, he gets Mounted Noble Lord with his Household Knights, I get basically everything else. He was like, wow, that's a lot of stuff. I just dropped like a stack of cards in front of him. So Fenner, goltr, coming up this side. Double trolls down the middle because we're playing. It's the 2/3 game right now, just the buildings. If I control the right side, I'll be in a really good spot. Left side, I just need to stall out. We're using the trays here to determine what zone we're going to score. So, you know, he just runs up, scores that zone, I score this zone, we get some points. I also generate enough space to leave a goltr here just to cover, and I can also put another goltr here for next turn. Just to swing around. And the Siotnar, you know, I'm already planning to like put up the middle here just to support this side because there's a lot of free space. I think I'm going to need it. Yeah, that's kind of turn 2. I think my Stalkers actually walked up and took some shots, but Tenacious 2 kicks in from the Mounted Squires, so they just don't take any wounds. So yeah, let's get into turn 3. Wow! What's going on? There's a big list. There's a bunch of stuff. Yeah, Andrew rolled and got everything on. So good on him. I get my... It's kind of hard to see on the left side here, but there is goltr right there. There's only... I think I should have just taken a better photo. This game, to be honest, I didn't sleep very well the previous night. I was pretty stressed because I was at 2 wins and a draw. And I get guaranteed second if I win this game, so I was kind of like stressing out of my mind. So you'll have to make do. You have to deal with whatever decisions I make and however I play. Score. There we go. So yes, the objectives I just marked out are 100% the ones we pick. What is the smart move? I do back off here a little bit, and what is fine because I have my trolls on this zone. So I'll be getting like 6 points. Andrew also gets 6 points, but he can't pick something next turn. He's putting pressure on me with the Sealed Temple here, Fluid. He's got both his House of Knights coming down, and then he's got his back Men-at-Arms who are going to be like walking back and forth on his own. So he's putting a lot of pressure here. If I can get the House of Knights into a grind with the Trolls, I'll be in a really good spot. But the Sealed Temple are going to be like shooting out and doing a ton of work, and that's why there's a goltr unit way back there to try and prevent that. Siotnar up the middle there to contest the big block of Sealed Temple with the Caliburn and the Wedge. I'm throwing my Trolls up just to like kind of put pressure and leapfrogging with the Stalkers. His entire list is bigger than mine, so if I can get Stalker shots on the side, I'll be doing really well. Fenner defending against the double Crimson Tower over on the right, while having goltr who will love chewing into Crimson Tower. So it's going to be like, how does this unpack is how this game is going to be decided. He does out-threat me, but I have more pressure, and I'm pushing that pressure forward to try and close that distance. But eventually he's going to hit me. I am using the Forest right here to prevent impact attacks and take away Inspired, what will help on the right side. So let's get into turn 4. Here's turn 4. I don't know. I think we just both picked this one as our scorer, but as you can see, I did not do very well. One of the first moves that Andrew makes is sending the Sealed Temple down into my goltr. My goltr killed them. They just, I think they just, like, inspired, clash, killed, or whatever. Did really well there. Raiders and Shaman, they were here. That was fine. Or, no, actually, sorry. He didn't send them down there. He deliberated. He deliberated. That's not a word. He thought about it for a long time. And eventually he sent his Sealed Temple where these Sealed Temples were. And then as you can see, the goltr just charged into them and killed them. Then the other goltr just walked in and, took that zone after charging in. Both Household Knight units just move up to kind of protect that. The Men-at-Arms just kind of hang out in the back there. That's fine. On the right side, Stalkers start doing some work into Marksman or into Mounted Squires, but Mounted Squires march charging the Stalkers, locking them down. I'm still on that zone. I think I score this. I don't remember. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. But I'm kind of defending. He's kind of pushed a lot of his stuff to the left here. And then we get into the Sealed Temple play. And this thing is he fluid reforms, does a march charge into my goltr, leaving it on like 2 health, but now he's way over there. My Siotnar has to reposition to try and get to them, what's going to be real tough. But I might be able to do that next turn. If I can, I'll be in a really good spot. And then, the trolls, hopefully with the stalkers can get out of the way, I can get into the, what is it? The mounted squires with the trolls, kill that off. And, yeah. Still stalling on the right. You'll have to pardon me on my thought process here. I've been recording a long time. And also, this was one of my last games. I was super tired, so I forget every little detail that happened. But I think Andrew is scoring 1, 2, 3, and I think I shift off this one, or maybe I scored, I forget, but whatever. Let's get into turn 5. Here's turn 5. It's okay, so first things first. Siotnar gets into the flank of the Steel Temple, does a ton of damage. Household Knights have to march charge. They have to like shuft over and then charge into the Siotnar. So they do some damage there. The Steel Temple finish off the goltr. The other goltr get finished off by the other Steel Temple and the Household Knights. So not doing super well there. Kind of sucks to be honest. So losing a lot of fighting there, but hopefully the Siotnar can do a lot of work. My stalkers clash and then run away and die. Trolls charge into the mounted squires who tried to reposition but couldn't escape them. So he kind of just spins me around a little bit to protect his flank. So I'm stuck in there. So left side at this point I'm like is not going really well. He's got a ton of units. I'm not in a good spot there. Right side I go, okay, well, I've scored this. We'll do really well here. This, I don't know if he was on it or not. I forget, but he'll probably be scoring that. It doesn't look like he's on the left one, so he'll score that next turn, but I start putting a lot of pressure onto him here. We kind of just shimmy for position because no one wants to really go for it yet. Because whoever does, it could just lead to like a bleed and a break, and you lose this as well if I get overcommitted, because I still have to respect the Crimson Towers because they will do a bunch of damage, but I can kind of push pressure on them, secure that, and then I can go back and forth and score that zone. If I can maintain the middle, I'll win, and I can hopefully swing both trolls around down the middle to just stall out and win that way. So with that, I think that's 5. Let's go into 6. Here's turn 6. Wow! So Siotnar kills the Steel Temple. And the Household Knights. The Household Knights kill the Siotnar. They just clash and they just do a reform. My trolls, I just kill off the mounted squires and charge into the Household Knights to just get them stuck in. I don't want to be fighting them. Then I finally get the commitment here. The Fenner, he kind of gets... I need a 2 to charge the Crimson Towers. I fail. The Crimson Towers countercharge me, kill off 2 stands, but, goltr there. The other Crimson Towers... I think they failed charge or something, or they're moved up and I just charge in with the trolls, do a ton of work. Stalkers are just doing a ton of work. So at this point, I score, I think these 2, I can tell you. I know this one gets scored over there, and I know these guys move back. But if those trolls on the left can chew through those Household Knights, chew through the mounted squires and the other Household Knights, I'll be in a good spot. The right side, I feel pretty good. Just kind of sucked that the Fenner rolled a 1. I feel like everything should just have Unstoppable. It just kind of sucks when it doesn't. So, yeah. Next turn. I forget what turn this is. This might be like 8 or something. Or 7. This might be 7. So, Stalkers, they just reform, start marching this way. Trolls, get into that grind. I think that one Household Knight has 1 health remaining. Double score this. I score this. Goltr get in. After the Fenner die, he pulls back. I charge the Goltr in, kill off another stand. He's down to like 2 wounds. In a really good spot there. Stalkers coming up with help with shooting support. Trolls in a really good spot with the regen. I just need to start getting onto these zones and getting work done. So yeah, let's go to the next turn. I don't have much to say because it's just a lot of this back and forth. So I know for this one, I kill off the House Knights and Mountain of the Lord, and then I just charge my trolls. I just do it with a clash because he had 1 wound left, and I charge my trolls in these men-at-arms, killing them and breaking them. so they will not score this zone. And then I also have it in a position that when Andrew charges, let's see the blue, charges with these Household Knights, he will not be on this zone either, so he won't score anything. I'll score this because my tip is in there, and that's where the thing was. These goltr just inspire clash, confirm the kill. So these goltr can now, split, score that. And these trolls are just spinning around and walking away. And then I believe these stalkers run up, just, start putting more shots in. All right, let's get in, maybe turn 8? Well, I don't know, or turn 9. Yeah, okay, so this is turn 9. Goltr, scoring zones there. Stalkers, shoot and kill the men-at-arms. Also Knights, get onto the zone. Trolls run up. And at this point, Andrew calls it. He's like, you're a point ahead. There's no way we can catch up. And even if I did, you will just, march charge your stalkers into me to stall me out for a zone, and you'll still score. And I'm like, okay, sounds good, man. That's it. This was probably one of the hardest games I ever played. There was a lot riding on this game. And let's go to the... okay, so then we end 45 to 44. I don't know where the other point came from, to be honest. But Andrew's like, nah, you got this. And he just kind of, there we go. Because he didn't play turn 10. He's like, you just march charge me and, stall me, and I'm good. And I'm like, all right, man. So yeah, overall, really good game with Andrew. This is the first time we actually ever played. He's very good. He's very fun. He's very bubbly. I was incredibly tired in this game. I'm also incredibly tired now because this recording is almost hitting 2 hours. And he's just a really good player. He's a fun guy. If you get a chance in North America, go play Andrew. He's super fun, super great. He's very good at the game. He does love his horses, and he really knows how to make good use out of the Sealed Temple. That fluid from downtown caught me completely off guard when he did it. I got stuck on a couple things. I failed that charge roll with the Fenner, what kind of sucked. I need a 2 and not a 1. So there's a couple stuff there. Overall, I think I played it pretty well. My left side, I probably should have been a little more coy. It's kind of tough with just all the horses coming at you finally when it hits, because Andrew is going to get the alpha with the horses, but you need to kind of take it and fight back, what I did, and eventually secured the win. So yeah, that's Chios. I'll probably put a picture up. Came second. That was really fun. There's a great group photo of us all together. Fantastic event. Once again, you play games, you get all these tournament points. You want to go to Chios, and I would strongly recommend going to Chios. If you come first in your region, don't give up your spot. Try and get the time off. Go to Chios. It's an amazing experience, and I'm really happy and really glad I did. Spend about 4 or 5 days there. Then went to Athens. Spent a couple days in Athens. Did some day trips like the Oracle of Delphi or the Meteora monasteries, and had a fantastic time. Food's delicious. There's tons of sights to see. The Acropolis is cool. Tons of museums. Tons of stuff to check out. It's just a whole wonderful place to go to. The game's really good. Everyone was really nice and fantastic. Lots of talk about Conquest. Lots of talk about what guys were looking for out of the game, what they want to play next. I myself am truly excited that I no longer have to prepare for Chios or anything, and I can kind of pull back and relax and just enjoy myself. A lot of stress going into Chios, to the point where I'm like, oh god, am I making the right decision here with what I was playing? But I'm really happy this all paid off, and I had a fantastic time and fantastic experience. And yeah, that's kind of it. That's what I have. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, all that stuff, leave a comment in down below. Like and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys enjoyed the coverage, and I hope to go again next year. I had a blast. I would go again. So hopefully I do well this year for Worlds points, and I go again. But thank you for watching. Thank you for watching all my games, following all of this. There's going to be a bunch of stuff out where I interview some of the other Chios winners, or not winners, other Chios participants. I do want to interview the winner, but I also want to do some more international stuff where I talk to each of the players about their communities, their metas, and their different countries. Look forward for more BonkTable content. There's a bunch in the pipe. There's also a bunch of Chios practice games that I can finally release because we're done Chios. So I hope you guys all enjoy those. Bye!